We're doing
And
it.
I'm Heather Branch here with Mike Douglas, talking about ways that you can be, talking about things you can be working on, ways you can be doing, all of the things that are involved, working to better prepare for your financial future. LifePlanWealth.com, that is where you can go to begin the conversation with Mike and his team. We also have links posted in the show notes, or again, find us anytime at LifePlanWealth.com. All right, we need to talk about emotions. The whole idea.
I don't feel like it. I'm just kidding.
No. Well played, sir.
That makes me sad.
Well played. Makes me feel things. I'm feeling the feels. Yeah. What's interesting is even the most sound people, even people that are super steady in life, super steady in their careers, they have logic, they are matter-of-fact types, whether you're a man or you're a woman, young or old, cool as a cucumber. And when the idea of money comes in, the emotions take over, and you are lying to yourself if you say that's not me. Because how can it not be emotional? It is your life's work. You rely on it for the livelihood of yourself, for your family, for your future, your hopes and dreams to retire, the things you want to do in those years. And I mean, we've talked a lot before on our podcasts about how emotions play out and the conversations you have in the office with people. This Nobel Prize winning study psychologist showed we make financial decisions based on 90% emotion, 90. Only 10% of logic comes into play on our financial decisions. You have watched this unfold firsthand in your office, probably daily, have you not?
Yeah. It's one of the hardest realities that we face all the time is the disconnect between, in so many areas of life, what we know we should do versus what we do. Yeah. And that disconnect goes across the board. It's like the idea that, wow, my computer is excited to talk about this. That's good. The disconnect between,
what's happening?
I don't know. We're just, hey, it's an important topic. And my computer's like, make sure you stay on this thing. Don't go to a different thing. So the disconnect between what we're supposed to do and what we should do. We know it for health and fitness, right? If you want to be a marathon runner, run and eat well, right? And just keep running farther and farther and train, and eventually you'll get there. On the other hand, if you want to be a bodybuilder, if you want to be a gardener, if you want to be more educated, we know how to do it. Just have to choose the disciplines to do it, and then not let the days when it's hard take you away from doing what you're supposed to do. So as a result, finances are no different. We know what we're supposed to do. It doesn't stop us from feeling some kind of way about it. When things go down in the market, we can't just say, it's no big deal. It's just a paper loss. I think in our office, when you're sitting down with clients, when you're sitting down with prospects, that's one of the biggest things is to sit there and understand that I can tell people all day long, don't be emotional. It's just the market. The market has ups and downs. It's a seasonality, right? It's going to come back. It's a wave cycle. But doesn't change how someone feels about their life savings. And like you mentioned, it's not a 401k to them. It's life savings. Yeah. It's what I'm supposed to live off of. It's my everything. So then to try and turn around and tell someone,
like it's what takes you away from your family. It's to work, to earn, to save.
Yeah. And so to have it be up in the air or crashing down, and then just have someone sit across a conference table and say, don't get emotional about it. That's not realistic. It's okay to be emotional about it. It's okay to have passion and feelings and have reality, because to not have that is a disconnect, right? The whole reason we saved is so one day we could live out our dreams. And as I'm trying to live out my dreams, the market crashes and something happens and I don't like those. So as a result, we can't just say, don't be emotional. What we can say is, understand that this is emotional, but we need to make some decisions before the issues come up. So that way we can make good, informed, educational, logical decisions in the heat of the moment. The reason boxers train so hard, so feverishly for months and months and years, sometimes for a single fight, is because in the middle of that fight, they can't get emotional about some guy punching them. They can't lose their cool. They have to be completely bunkered down, not just with how to punch, but how to avoid getting punched, how to move, how to react to the point where it's second nature, because they don't want to be in the middle of a fight and have to make a decision for the first time. They want to go back to muscle memory and react. And that's what finances are the same thing. We need to have strategies and plans before the issues ever come up. The market's good. When the market's good, everybody wants to make a bunch of money and be very aggressive. And the market's bad, and people say, how could I possibly lose money? I'm close to retirement, or I'm in retirement. So we need to have these intentional strategies built out before we get into it. I would say you need an exit strategy before you get down in the foxhole. And that's kind of what we're talking about. Understanding who you are and your family and your goals and your needs. And as a result, knowing that for us, 7%, 10%, 12%, 15%, whatever it is, there's a certain point at which we say, all right, that's enough. We don't want any more losses. We don't want any more pain. We don't want anything that's going to take us away from what we're supposed to do. But for every family, that's different. So I know we have, I think of one client we had, and she came on with us right at the end of 2021. Like right at the end. They came on in December, their money transferred over, and we were trying to beat the clock for some Roth conversion form. It's right at the high point of the market.
That was when everything was still really good.
Yeah, everything was really good. And she retires, and then January 2nd was her first day of retirement. And the market started crashing. January 3rd was the high point.
Okay.
In 2022, and the market starts tanking. And so her first month of retirement, the market was brutal. And when we sat down and met back in October to start having conversations, I said, what is your goal? What do you guys want retirement to look like? And her answer was 6 weeks somewhere. And I said, what does that mean? She goes, every winter, I want to spend 6 weeks somewhere warm, not Michigan. Okay. Do you care where? Nope. Somewhere south. All right. So that's their plan. That's their model. So they join with us in December, and then January, the market starts crashing. Well, based on what we decided back in October was an appropriate amount of risk, January 24th, we sold her out and put her to cash. Now, that's not a decision we take lightly, but the market had dropped so quickly that we said, this is all that she and her husband can take. So we sold them out and put them to cash. And we sent out a video. Hey, heads up, just so you know, we put you to cash today. Here's what's going on. If you have any questions, give us a call or come in and we'll talk. And so that happened. And then here comes February, March, April, May. She calls us and says, I'm freaking out. I hear bad news every day. The market's terrible. Because remember, 2022 was a real bad year in the market. She's freaking out. And she says, I just can't see my money disappear. I got to meet. We said, yeah, come on in. So she comes in and we sit down, and I said, let's talk through where you sit. And I gave her the same timeline. In October, we decided 7% was too much for you. Like we can't lose any more than 7%. December, you became a client. January, the market starts tanking. January 24th, we put you to cash at a 6.24% loss. Then the market dropped. It recovered a little bit, and then it dropped more and more and more. And now here we sit at the end of May, and the market's down almost 20%. And you've been in cash since 6.24% loss. And I said, have you been checking your accounts? Well, no, I just see the news and how bad it is. And I was afraid to check my accounts because when I had my 401k, if the market's down, I'm down. If the market's up, I'm up. And I knew the market was down, and I didn't want to check it. I said, did you watch the emails or the videos I sent you or the updates? No, you send a lot of stuff to us. I don't really watch it all. Okay. Well, I appreciate that. And if anything, if we're going to be accused of anything, it's over communication. It's going to be saying too much and letting too many people in. But that's what we do. We put a lot of content out there for our clients. She goes, I don't watch everything you send. I said, well, there was one really important one about 3 weeks in, and I told you that we protected you and took you to cash. And so as I'm talking to her and seeing that, I can literally just see the calm wash over her. And she says,
the woosah.
Okay. Yeah, because the thing was, it wasn't money she's afraid of. It's the fear that comes from the potential of losing money. But really, the anxiety kept coming from the fact that she didn't know. And I'm like, you didn't check your emails. You didn't check no, I didn't check it because I was afraid to look. Even though the fear was causing her the anxiety and the frustration. And so then when she finally calls and says she was at a panic level, and I said, we've got all this taken care of in the background, so you don't have to panic. Because really the only thing she cared about was, are we still on pace for 6 weeks somewhere next year? Yeah, absolutely. Because we did these things proactively, we are in a great spot. We're doing really well. And so just hang tight, and the market's going to come back, but you're in cash. So you're not losing a penny. And so again, not to tell her, hang tight, it's a paper loss. Eventually your money after losing 20% will recover. But to say, you can hang tight because we took care of things and protected you along the way. But again, that plan didn't come in the moment. We weren't sitting there January 24th saying, how risky is she? How does she feel about markets? How does she feel about stocks? How does she feel about downside risk and standard deviations? That was all decided back in October. So you have to have the plan in advance, and you can protect things. And again, it starts with conversations that are not just what stocks to pick, what mutual funds, what annuities, what ETFs, what bonds. It comes down to who you are as people, because every family's different. I had a 79-year-old ask me if I'm invested the same way she is, because her question was from an honest place of, do you have skin in the game? Are we invested the same way? Like, if I lose, do you lose?
Sure.
And I said, well, yes, I lose if you lose, but I'm not in your same portfolio. I'm 40 and I do this for a living. You're 79. We're not in the same portfolio. I'm very risk comfortable because I do this for a living and I watch it all the time. So I'm very comfortable with risk. You are not. So we're invested completely differently. So as a result, we both have different exit strategies. I double down when the market's bad. We cut bait and we get you out. She said, well, that makes sense. And so for clients, it's about that conversation, understanding who you are. If people go to lifeplanwealth.com, there's a button on there that says start your retirement roadmap today. Click that button. We'll have these conversations, understanding who you are, not just some 10-question questionnaire. And at the end, we say moderately conservative. Sounds good. Here's your 30 funds that we're going to buy for you. See you every 6 months and we'll figure out how you did. It's more specific. It's, my family is okay with this much risk. My portfolio can only stomach this much risk. My current portfolio has this much risk. How do we get those things aligned where my finances and my feeling and my future needs all meet in the same place and we're congruent? That's a good place to be. And that's when you sleep better. So lifeplanwealth.com, start your retirement roadmap today. Click that button and we have coffee and have these conversations.
It is, in fact, possible. It's not possible to remove all the emotion, but it is possible to drastically reduce how much emotion goes into your financial decisions. And again, it begins by having a plan in place. It starts with having a conversation.
Emotion's really good. You have to have them because you don't want to live some
don't want it to
robot
mess
life.
You up.
No.
Yeah,
but to be calculated about them and know, hey, even though it's emotional, I emotionally cannot take any more than this. Okay, let's line those things
There's
up.
There is that. That's a very real thing. And for so many people, by the time they have gotten to the place where age financially they can retire, they are retiring because they are tired of all the things that come with working and saving and investing. And it's time for you to be able to sit back, head towards the future that you have been planning for and dreaming of, and doing it with less worry, with more confidence. That's what Mike is here to help you figure out in a plan of your own. So again, our website, lifeplanwealth.com, is where you can begin your conversation. We also have links posted in the show notes, so you can just click there if that is more convenient, or visit us anytime at lifeplanwealth.com.